Hi, this is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers. And today we're continuing our discussion on Etsy stores. So I am in my Play Etsy store, sort of my Play. I actually have two stores. And this one will eventually become something, but right now it's not something. We are going through and we are creating listings. So these are the listings that my VA got to practice. I don't know when she put them up. And we're going to go through, we talked about listings yesterday. We talked about creating a cluster photo for our listings. We talked about some of the key components that go into a listing. I shared the link to the Etsy Sellers Guide, which also had a little section on creating or optimizing your listing. And we talked about some strategies for optimizing your listing. So I wanted to kind of go through the exercise today. Earlier, we had people come on and try to address any outstanding issues. So before we get too far into it, does anyone have any questions? Because if you have a question, somebody else will have a question. There's probably people watching the replay because there's clearly more people than this in the class. But if you have questions, please ask them now. Or if you want to back, or if you want to show your screen, let's cover that now before we get into talking about listings. So anybody want to share anything? Did everybody get their Etsy stores created? Yes. All
I
right.
have an Etsy store.
You already have one. Okay, good.
Yep. Got one open.
All right. And so Miss Teresa, that's next on your list if you haven't already done so. And Miss Charlotte, do you already have an Etsy store?
No.
Okay. So Miss Charlotte, in the handout that I distributed through email, in there is kind of an outline of getting started creating your Etsy store. You just need to make sure you have your banking information, if nothing else. And so you can begin that process of creating your Etsy store and setting it up. So once you are in your Etsy store, all of that listing information that we went through, this is where we will actually go through the process in creating our listing. So when you come to your main, I think when you first log in, I think you show up here. I think this is where you show up when you first log in. And then once you log in, you can go to your shop manager, which is the little house. And then once you go to the little house, you can click on listings. This is where you will be able to create your listings. And we're going to click on add a listing. And we kind of like high level went through this yesterday. So that cluster photo that we were talking about before, that feature photo, that cover photo, it's going to go on your Etsy store. This is where you upload it here. And, you'll add it as the main photo here. And you can continue to add secondary photos behind it. Whatever the next one that you want to showcase the most, I would put them in order. And the other tip I would give you is name your images. Again, once you kind of done your some of your preliminary keyword research that we talked about yesterday, and you come up with some of the words that you feel like best describe your product, then when you download your images, name your image files. Name them that, because people do image searches. Okay? They actually do image searches in Google. So you want your product to be as readily available and easily found as possible. When you are separating by separating words, make sure you put a dash or an underscore. I recommend an underscore. Others may recommend the dash. So, if I were doing scripture dash, flashcards, or smoothie dash recipe dash cards. I don't know what's going on downstairs. That's what I would do, the dash or the underscore. Okay. So name your image files and then start the process of uploading those images into your listing. The other thing is inside of Canva, you have the ability to create or take your images and convert them into a video. So this is what I talked about yesterday. And if you choose to do this, this is where you do it. You can go into, let me just I have all kinds of stuff in here. Let me go to home. So I don't know what my son did today. He did shapes, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Um, so what you can do is you can take your image, and when you're ready to, I'll take this one. If I was ready to download it, and this is what I was talking about before, Teresa, is the names of my files are like right next to where my name circle is. So
Oh, okay.
why you don't have a box there? It makes it easy for me to rename them. So I don't know how long I've had this Canva account. Maybe it's a grandfather thing, or maybe it's a paid pro thing. I don't know, but this is where this is how I always rename my stuff. So I just do it that way. But in any case, when you download it, you can download it. I go down, and it's going to ask me how I want to download it. And if I want to make it a video, you can make it into a video. Now, you do have to make sure you've done some level of animations, and we will go through and talk about all the animation options that you could do. But yeah, you can download it as a video, even though it's stills. Oh, undo. Even though it's stills, and then that way you can, you know, um, turn it into a video. So I just want to put that out there that the option exists within Canva to be able to turn it into a video. That's my brother's dog. All right. So now we're going to come down here, and you will, of course, put your title. Now, my encouragement is that yesterday we talked about looking at our competitors' listings. We're going to be inspired by them, but we're not going to copy other people's listings. We're also going to make sure that we find the potential holes in our competitors' listings and include those words that might help us. You can also, if you're familiar with the eRank tool, you can use that. There's also keywords everywhere, which is another tool that you could potentially use, or you can use like Google Trends to go see what is the frequency in which people are looking for this combination of words together. If you've never used any of those tools, we are going to have a session where we just talk about eRank, and then we'll do another one where we talk about keywords everywhere, and then we'll do another one where we talk about using Google Trends to help you to find some of those keywords that might help you in your title. Okay. But your goal is when you create the title and you save the whole listing, the spiders are going to crawl across the internet and they're going to index some things. And so having your keywords, your strongest keywords in the first 5 words, regardless of what platform you're selling on, is going to help you. Okay. The first 5 words, I always say 5 to 7. And for some platforms, 5 to 7 matters. But at least on Etsy, make sure try to have it in the first 5 to 7 for sure. Okay. So what is this? Who made this listing? That's you. And then what is it? So, oh my gosh, this dog. The finished product. And then when was it made? So I could put made to order, or I could say that I made it recently. And then is this item is handmade. It is supplies, tools, a supply tool. No, I'm in the wrong category. Okay, so I am doing printables. So a digital product, and you can choose your categories, and you can add more. Then the color, I don't know that truly depends. I mean, it might be relevant, depends on what you're making. I'm gonna have to shut the door just a second. Nicholas's helper is like, oh my gosh, shut up. Okay, colors, secondary colors, height, all of those things that it might help them, especially if you're making those cards. So if you're having them printed on cardstock and it's 8.5 by 11, and definitely indicate that it's on 8.5 by 11, but you're going to put the pertinent information into the description. Okay. And if they're printing it horizontal or vertical, that's important for them to know. That's also some of the stuff is optional, home style, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to scroll down to what I think matters. and you can fill in the additional things that you feel like are relevant to your specific product because everybody's doing something different. So we're going to go to digital. This is going to be a digital product. You're going to put your words here. So words, 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 and make sure that as you look at your competitors, and I mentioned yesterday when I work with my VAs, I have them go look at, 20 products, the top 20 that come up based on the keywords that I'm using in my search. And we evaluate what those descriptions look like. Because clearly, if they're coming up and they're the top 20 or the first 20, then that means that they are the ones that fit the criteria for those keywords that are being used. So, therefore, the words that are in that listing actually do matter to some extent. So, I'm going to go evaluate that and then use that as my basis to begin the process of creating my listing description. I'm not going to copy their listing. My product is clearly going to be different than theirs. So I'm going to make sure that I create my own version of a listing. And that's where you may take a little bit more time creating the listing, making sure you have the words, or you can just copy and paste it, put it in a notepad or put it in a Google Doc. And that way, as you create more versions of that, you can just edit some of the words if that's your baseline listing that you're going to go with every single time. Okay. And then as you continue down that path of it being a digital product, tags are important. So if your product is, let's say that you were making cards for Father's Day, you would probably have tags like for dad, hashtag dad, or any, men, uncle, brother, those kinds of things, words, husband, all of those tags that are beneficial. And again, eRank is really good at giving you some ideas of what type of tags to include. You can also look at the listings of your competitor to get some inspiration from there as well. Then the material that it is, and of course, you're going to be recommending cardstock. And then your SKU, if it's applicable, quantity is one. You got to put a price. So that's a price in there. Oh, come on, mouse. All right. And so after I put a price in there, this is when the section or upload your file. This is where that file that you upload or download from your Canva account. And if you're using a different tool, that's fine. But we're starting off with Canva as our play tool. So you can upload your product here. More than likely, you're probably going to upload it as a PDF. That's the most common, especially if they're printing on cardstock. So you'll upload the file there, and then you'll go ahead and click publish. I think those are the biggest ticket items. Does anybody want to add anything to that? I feel like there's more. Anything?
Anything?
I don't know. We
I
have
don't know. We have
feedback.
feedback.
All right. Anybody want to add anything to that? No? Okay. All right. So now that we kind of have our cover photo, we've got a couple of listings that we have a couple of images that we can include in our listing. This assignment for today is to actually create your Etsy listing. Some of you have probably already done that. So I just want you to, if you haven't already, now that we have gradually walked through the process of some of the basics, not anything major, but some of the basics of things that we would consider part of a listing and what it takes to create the listing. We've got our cover photo. We've got a couple of cluster individual photos. Maybe we create a couple of cluster images. I keep saying photo, but it's really images. And then we can go ahead and begin the process of creating our listing. So the biggest part of that, I think, that may or may not be a challenge is when you download. So depending on how you designed it, you want to be able to download it in such a way that they can upload it to, if you're telling them to use cardstock, that it will print in exactly the way it needs to. So you might test, like if you've got a printer of your own, download it and then print yourself. And if it's not, then you may have to change your either direction or change the form template that you're using, so that that way when it's downloaded and then uploaded, or they download it themselves, that they can print it on whatever form or stock that you tell them to print it on. And that's going to be key. All right. So the whole objective of this whole print on demand challenge is for us to take incremental action every single day, and to make incremental progress in our business. So it is day 7. And my hope, my prayer, my goal for you guys this week, for everyone this week, is to get up 3 to 4 listings. It is Tuesday. So including today, that's 5 days before the week is over, to work at getting 4 listings up. So if you don't feel like, okay, I'm not there, I'm not gonna be able to get 4 listings up. And I mean, like, continuing to work on a new design, a new product every single day. If you feel like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to do that, then work towards 3. Work to get at least 3 listings up, so that way you're starting the process. Every person I've ever coached, it is just the starting that takes the longest. Once you start, you get that listing up, then it's a matter of continuing to go, rinse and repeat. So I can remember doing retail arbitrage. It was just the whole, okay, we went out and we bought some products. Now what? It's like, well, okay, let's go create those listings. Okay, we created some listings. Now what? All right, well, let's go create a shipment. Okay, we created a shipment. Now what? It's like, okay, well, let's go. Let's package it, put some stickers, some labels on it, and package it up and send it to Amazon. Okay, all right. So we're just gradually going through the process of, we figured out what it is we're going to produce. We looked at some examples. We went and played with the Canva tool just a little bit. There's going to be some more Canva, training that we're going to cover. And we're going to go ahead and create a couple of example products. And now we're going to create the cover. Now that we created the cover, then we're going to go ahead and create a listing. So we're starting through that process very gradually. And then at the end of the day, we're going to have an amazing product. We're going to continue to build on what we started. And again, we may not even stay in the same realm. We may change. So what questions do you have today for me? You can unmute. You can ask me anything. Nothing?
I missed yesterday.
Okay.
And so when that recording's back up, I'll go and catch it. But is there anything that I should know about listing wise?
We went through listing basics yesterday and what are some of the key components and some listing strategies. So that's what we went through. And then we also talked about and worked on creating that, cover photo, that cluster photo.
Okay.
So those were the 2 things that we covered. And then again, our goal is we're going to get to a place where every single day we're producing a product. We're spending 30 minutes to an hour producing a product and creating a listing over at rinse and repeat every day.
Perfect. I appreciate this challenge a ton for that reason. I knew I needed the consistency, and so both yesterday and the day before I did get new listings up. And so I'm excited to have made that progress and continue that. So thank you.
Yes. We're going to maintain and sustain that momentum, because here's the deal. We're really going to use all of this to help us with Q4. Seriously. Like, whatever we are making, scriptures are going to sell during Q4. People are going to want scripture cards or things for their grandbabies. And so we're going to target that audience, Miss Charlotte. Recipe cards, people are going to be wanting to lose weight. So we're going to definitely target that audience. People are going to want to get their houses organized. And that's always one of those things at the beginning of the year where they want to, like, organize everything and fix their shelves and clean out the closets and all that other stuff. They also do it during spring cleaning, but something about the beginning of the year, everybody wants to reset everything. So again, that's another great opportunity to be able to sell products. So ultimately, our goal, our objective is to actually take this thing that we're creating and actually be able to sell some of them, even though we're not going to get rich from the printables. We're not. We're going to work on creating bundle opportunities, and we're also going to work on creating higher value products like low content books that are going to generate us higher revenue and maybe get more sales. So that's the strategy that we're taking. Is it's all a gradual progression that's going to be a build up to something even bigger. I'm excited. And when we get into stage 3, we are going to be talking about some of those things that people buy that are printables or print on demand for Q4, like, all of the, what is it? I cannot think of the word right now. Why can I think of the word? Um, embroidered stuff, embroidered shirts, embroidered whatever. They want engraved stuff. They want all of those things. We're going to go through the exercise of finding those products and creating one. And then you guys are going to just continue down that path. Now, you'll probably do something that's related to your niche, or you could do something that has absolutely nothing to do with your niche at all. So I have ideas, but we'll see. I have some amazing ideas, but we'll see. So, all right. Well, that's all I got for today at 6:35. So unless we have more, our goal is we're on a mission to create at least 4 listings before the end of the week, if not 3. And we're going to continue to meet at 6. So even if nobody's here, I'm going to continue to go on. I know that sometimes things happen. Like this Friday, something is going to be happening for me. So I have to try and make sure I'm back by 6 o'clock to be able to teach this class. But I'm excited about it. All right. I will talk with you all later. If you have anything and you want to talk to me, you can definitely come on 15 minutes early. Just let me know you're coming and I can help you. And we can continue to work on your specific product. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're going to say goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Good night.
Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you.